What's up guys, it's probably not maybe if you're a YouTuber here. Yeah, I got a new couch. You remember it used to be a red one? Anyway, so I'm just gonna do a quick sum up on what I think of the first 5 Planet of the Apes movies. Last month or so, I saw Planet of the Apes for the first time. In my entire life, up until just a month ago, I haven't seen a single movie. I was just looking on YouTube one day and then I saw that Screen Junkies did an honest trailer for the 2001 version and I was like, oh yeah, it's a popular movie, isn't it? And then I checked it out and then it showed the ending for the original one, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks familiar. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys in case if you're one of the few people in the world who hasn't seen it yet, but I saw the ending and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen a parody of that somewhere. So then I researched on what the ending was about, so unfortunately I didn't get as shocked when I watched the movie for the first time because I already knew what the ending was. And then I saw there were tons of sequels, and I saw the ending for the first film and I was like, wow, I mean, that's gotta be so open-ended. Imagine how people must have felt, spending their entire lives wondering what the characters did after that ending. But then I realized, oh no, wait, there were 4 sequels after that. And then when I was on my road trip in the USA, I actually got all 5 movies at Walmart. I thought that I would be lucky enough to find just the first movie. Within those $20, I also managed to get the first 2 of the reboot and the Dark Knight trilogy, which is completely unrelated to this, I know. But I got literally 10 movies for $20. But anyway, you don't care about me, just basically, I noticed that coincidentally, the day that I found out about Planet of the Apes happened to be the day that a new one came out. And everyone was telling me, all the people who I know was telling me oh well, you should do a review on Planet of the Apes. I was thinking of maybe doing a review of all 5 of them separately, and I decided to just squish them into one video. I have enough ideas to last me for a little while. It's basically just going to be one of the lazy videos where I sit on a couch and tell my opinion, so I decided to just squish them all into one movie instead of wasting one video, instead of wasting your time. So, here we go. So, starting off with the first movie, I thought that the reason why I didn't watch Planet of the Apes was because I thought that it was going to be a boring documentary about how apes lived in the wild. I didn't actually know that it was even sci-fi or even that it was that popular of a movie. I am kind of upset because I knew what the ending was before I saw it. If I didn't see the ending in that honest trailer, I probably wouldn't have seen the movie by now. But yeah, if you don't know the twist, hopefully if you are going to buy a DVD or Blu-ray of it, hopefully you can find one that doesn't spoil the ending on the cover, because just warning, I've looked on eBay and it pretty much spoils the ending on the cover. It's so stupid. Planet of the Apes isn't a documentary about boring apes and how they live in the wild. It's actually about these astronauts who land on an alien planet in the far future. And on this planet, apes and humans are reversed. So apes are the ones that can talk and humans are mute, and humans are the ones that are kept in cages and are kept as pets and in the zoo and stuff like that. There was a funny scene where one of the astronauts is kept in a cage, but he has a throat injury, so he can't talk. So he can't prove that he's a more advanced human than the apes think. So then they shove in a female human, and they're expecting the two to mate together. And then I didn't know that humans actually did that to apes, so you don't get to choose who they want to mate with. They just pick a male and a female and then shove them in. It doesn't matter. Ending is quite shocking, and I highly recommend that if you haven't seen it, if you don't know what the ending is, I highly recommend that you try to avoid the ending until you've seen the movie, because don't make the same mistake that I did. After that is Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Oh my god, I just realized that this is going to be hard without spoiling some of it. The astronauts go underground and find these mutant humans things who can scan just telepathically communicate with people and control them and stuff like that. And it is just kind of creepy. Honestly, Beneath the Planet of the Apes is my least favorite of the bunch. I felt like something was missing from it. I felt like they had good ideas, but then they didn't really know what to do with them. And they kind of waste time because then another astronaut comes down and he has to go through the exact same thing that the other astronauts did, and they kind of just waste time with the movie like that. I felt like they could have condensed the entire thing into a 10-minute mini-sode, because it's at the end I just didn't, well, I just by the end I didn't really feel that great as a movie as a whole, but I gotta say the ending of that was just amazing. At the end of the first movie, I was thinking like, wow, if only, I wonder what it would have been like if they ended the series right there with just one movie, and everyone would have been like, oh my god, what did the characters happen? But then when I saw the second movie, I was like, oh my god, imagine if they ended the series right at the second movie, then like, then if they ended the series right at the second movie, that would have probably been like the darkest duology in the history of duologies. Trilogy, but with two movies. Yeah, just the second movie is probably the darkest ending ever. I haven't seen the 2001 version or Rise, Dawn, or War yet, but I don't see how any Planet of the Apes movie could top the ending of the second movie. It's kind of odd for me to say this because Beneath the Planet of the Apes is by far my least favorite movie, but it's by far my favorite ending. Next is Escape from Planet of the Apes, and this is the point where I'm going to have to stop giving plot details entirely to stop spoiling what happens in it. But just to say, Escape from the Planet of the Apes is quite a fun watch, because at the end of the second movie, the ending is so dramatic that you're going to be confused because you don't see what the movie series could go from here. It just seems like the Planet of the Apes series just kind of like threw themselves in between a rock and a hard place, because you're sitting there and the third movie's like rolling through its opening title and you're wondering like how is this movie going to begin? The way they do get out of it, I personally think that's really clever. You might think that's stupid, but just remember this is a science fiction show, so it is quite interesting how they solve it. And Escape from the Planet of the Apes is probably, I was about to say probably the best, but nah, it's not the best. But it's a really good movie, and it has the first ending where you can tell where the next movie comes from. After you watch the ending of the first movie, you're just like, where could they go from here? And then you watch the ending of the second movie, and you're like, where could they go from here? When you watch the ending of the third movie, they kind of make it painfully obvious what the next movie is going to be about. The fourth movie is Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and this is my favorite of the five. It's just, I'm mainly, if you guys have subscribed to my channel and you've been watching my videos, then you know that I am super sensitive to equality, and I hate it when people or animals are being treated differently because of something that they can't control. And that includes like black people and white people, males and females. Males and females are not equal, guys. Do you still say ladies first? Then you're not treating them equally. Males are the bulkiest of the genders, and if males disappeared, then war movies would stop being made because no one would want to watch them. You're not going to make me believe that. There is one character dies, and sorry, it's not going to be that much of a spoiler once you start watching the movies, because by the time you've reached this fourth movie, you're going to realize that there was a lot of death and a lot of darkness in this movie. So a big character dies in the fourth movie just out of the blue. Well, like he throws himself into this situation, and I thought that he would have been able to get out of it, and then they just casually mention it in a bit of dialogue that he died from that, and I was like, what? Many people on the internet said that they were terrified of the ending. I just loved it. I was like, yeah, go apes, go apes, go apes. And finally comes Battle of the Planet of the Apes, the final one, and it's been said by most to be the worst out of the bunch. I mean, I don't know, it's far better than the second one in my opinion, because the second one is just disturbing all over the place. But then the fifth movie is like, yeah, I can see why they didn't like it. They're obviously running insanely low on budget, and just, they wanted to just wrap it up and stuff. The ending, like, it's not a Planet of the Apes movie without a little bit of an open ending. You don't really know what the ending could mean. You could look at it in a positive way, you could look at it in a sad way. If you have seen the movie and you want to know what I mean by that without spoiling it for the other people who haven't seen it, let me just remind you that crying can be tears of joy and tears of sadness. So yeah, and then apparently, I haven't seen Rise, Dawn, or War, but apparently they take place before the first movie in an alternate timeline. I don't know, there's time travel in there. There's time travel in these movies. But, so just to sum it up, yeah, Planet of the Apes is great. It's awesome. Beneath the Planet of the Apes is crap, but watch it anyway because it's important. Like, it's a movie in the series. You need to watch it to know what's going on. The third movie is great, awesome. Fourth movie, in my opinion, is also great and awesome. And Battle is, you know, kind of have to watch it if you want to be considering watching the franchise. But yeah, so what I recommend the series, definitely go check them all out. And thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like so I know you enjoyed it. If you didn't like it, please dislike so I know you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below if you liked it. Tell me why, because it does often get some motivation and encouragement. If you didn't like it, please leave a comment down below saying why you didn't like it so I can improve next time. Otherwise, I won't be able to improve. I'm just going to treat it just like as if it were like. Sorry, I have to walk around this table and subscribe so that you know when my next video comes out. Thanks again so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye.